Hi guys, I'm Alan Larson. Thanks for tuning in. We're getting started right on the dot like we said we would, because one of the things about being professional is being on time. So we're here to talk today a little bit about being a professional actor, about what that means and what the profession of acting really requires from you. We're going to be able to open up for questions. So you're going to see a little text box under my picture sitting there. So underneath, go ahead and type in any question you have. You can do it early, you can do it often, you can do whatever you like. We've got folks here that'll tell me what those questions are. If you want to type them in early, that's fine. We're going to cover some topics first of all. And if we answer them, we'll just ignore the question. Otherwise, we'll get to every single one of them, so make sure you get them in there. Anyway, so what does it mean to be a professional actor? I think we all know the difference between an amateur and a professional. An amateur doesn't get paid for their work. Doesn't mean they're not good. It just means that they don't get paid for it. And a professional actor gets paid. Now, if you want to be one of those professional actors, there's a lot of steps that you're going to have to cover, because professionalism and being a professional requires some business savvy that not all artists have. So we'll see if we can't give you a little leg up. So let's just jump right into the meat of things. The first thing I want to talk about is headshots. Some of this, like I said, is going to be review for some of you, but bear with us, we've got to talk to all levels of actors. So, headshots. Headshots are not pictures taken by your friends that you have up on Facebook. Headshots should be taken by professional photographers, people that really know what they're talking about, know what agencies are looking for, what casting directors are looking for. They're going to be 8x10 in size, they're going to be in color. And the thing about a headshot, everybody struggles over this, it has to be the best version of you can imagine. So make sure that you get several done. You want a commercial headshot, that's usually the big smile, so everybody sees how jovial and nice and energetic you are. Then you'll have your theatrical headshot that looks a little bit more serious, shows how sinister you can be or how sexy you can be. But those headshots are crucial, and they're a big part, possibly the most important part of your marketing package. So do not skimp on those tools. Make sure that you get some good work to put together. Now on the back of that resume, or on the back of that headshot, you're gonna have your resume. Now resumes are also very important. There are basic formats that you can look at, and that's important that you have the right format on there, because honestly, if you could flip something over and it's written in some business format that doesn't make sense in the entertainment industry, a casting director is gonna know not to take you seriously. So I'm gonna have Nathan put one example on this. This is gonna be example one. This is a full basic headshot, or resume. And it has all the basic information on there. It's going to have your TV, your film, your theater, all of that kind of experience going on there. But it's pretty straightforward. If your resume doesn't look like this, you might want to consider reformatting it. If you've noticed down below under the training section, there are only 2 columns, because nobody needs to know where you got that training. What's more important is who the coach was and what you were focusing on in that training session. Was it a class? Was it an ongoing scene study? Whatever. Make sure that that's pretty thorough, because that's where we're going to find out what sort of tools you're probably going to have in an audition. Now we're going to put up a second example. This is an example that's a little bit more creative. It allows for some photos to be put on the resume as well, but you'll notice that the basic information is still laid out in the same format that is standard to the industry. So whatever you do with your resume, make sure that it follows that particular guideline. Now you can turn that off for me. Now the point with a resume, and everybody's like, oh, should I put a picture on it? Should I not put a picture on it? Put a picture on it. What would you buy if you were buying a product? Do you want a product that's got a white paper with some words about it? This tastes great. Is that going to sell you the product? It's not. What are successful marketing campaigns? They're visual. They hit you in your chest, and it shows you that you've got a professional on your hands. Marketing material, that's why it's called that. So make sure you do the best you can with your resume. Put all of your information on there, and a critical element of the resume is that it grows constantly. Since later on we're going to be talking about submissions, you want to make sure that every time somebody sees your resume, it looks a little bit more impressive every time. Get your other pictures in the back, put a commercial shot in the back with a theatrical shot in the front. Be creative, but make sure that they see what you can get done. So that's resumes. Some people have reels. Reels are great tools to have for your marketing as well, but too many people go out and say, I'm going to shoot a reel, and they get their little handheld camera and they go outside with no specific decent mic. They stick it on a tripod and they do a monologue in a cool setting and they think that's going to be a reel. That's not a reel. A reel in this country is examples of the work that you have done professionally. Yes, it could be student films, if it's shot well, if the sound is good. Even better yet is if you're doing smaller bit roles with some great actors, you can, at that point, have these great shots, these clips in that reel that shows you next to these named talent, and that lends their strength to your credibility as well. So when you're putting your reel together, get it professionally edited, make sure you have great material in it, and very importantly, it follows the marketing theme that you've created. You've got your headshot, you've got your resume. On the back of that resume, you're creating at the top of that what you want people to see you as. So the font of your name, the presentation of it, you're going to carry through not only to your reel, but to your letterhead and even to your postcard. And letterhead and postcard's the other part of that marketing tool. Letterhead's great to be able to do your cover letters to anytime you're submitting work, submitting for work or for casting director general submissions or to agents. You need to have that cover letter, just like if you were sending a resume to any other job, you'd have that cover letter. It needs to be short, succinct, to the point, maybe a paragraph, tops, 5 sentences, perfect. Little thanks for your time, thanks for your consideration, and it's off. But it all follows that same theme. So as they hold it together, all of those materials have a marketing theme, and it makes them feel that you are indeed a professional. That's one of those steps, and it's very important. Now, on that resume, we've listed some training. Now, there's that whole debate, training versus education. There's people that have BFAs, MFAs from fine institutions that they went and learned acting. And as a casting professional, it helps me to know that this is a serious actor that has put real time and effort into knowing what they're doing. It lends to their credibility as a professional. However, equally as important or equally as impressive is when I see an actor who's worked with the right sorts of coaches, people that are known for bringing the best out of their actors, people whose names we might have recognized because, boy, they've worked with people that have been very successful before. That's a key element in having that on your resume because, again, it gives us great confidence that we're dealing with a professional that really knows their work. Your marketing's fabulous, but if you do not have the goods to back that up, you're not doing yourself any favor. Do you think that Tiger Woods doesn't occasionally ask somebody for a little bit of help when he's on the golf course? Maybe take a look at my swing. Am I doing something wrong? I bet you he does. In fact, I bet he can afford to have the very best people with cameras out there analyzing every stroke that he does. As a professional actor, you should do the same. Make sure you're being coached by the best. Now, if you have actors that you think you kind of look like, you're that sort of an actor, and you like the career path that somebody's taken, do some research. Check out who they were studying with, who helped them get their first shot, what casting directors call them back over and over again. These are the people that you want to focus your marketing campaigns on, and you want to focus on training and studying with those particular coaches. So whatever you're doing, if you're an actor, marketing, sending your things out, you better be in class. Ongoing scene study, do some special classes as well. But the special classes you're going to want to focus on are the ones done by casting directors. Once again, not every casting director, but the casting directors that are casting the sorts of shows and movies that you want to play in. You need to know information from these folks. So yeah, you want to go perform for them. You want their feedback on your auditions, but come prepared for some very important questions. You know what they are? Do you like to shake hands? Sounds stupid, right? But when you walk in that room and you don't know whether they like to shake hands or not, it puts you off guard at that audition, doesn't it? And you don't feel like you're going to be able to do your best. So make sure you ask it. Do you like to shake hands? Do you need it? Do you like when people give you a second headshot resume? What is it that you like to do on your off time? Do you have any kids? Do you have dogs? Find out as much personal information on this casting director as you can having to do with their professional work. So when you walk into their audition room, not only will they recognize you, but you can show them that you recognize them too, because you know the information about them. Every time you do that, make sure you write it into a little book, keep it in your back pocket, stick it somewhere. So every time you have an audition, you can flip it over to that casting director and you go, they like it when I walk into the room, not in character, basically as myself, step up to that line, waste no time, and deliver it in a way that excites them. They want me to make strong choices because they told me so when I went and did their workshop. Make sure you listen, but you better give them what they've asked for after you've asked the question. Now, there's a number one thing when people ask about how to be a successful working actor in the profession of acting. There's a lot of people out there that have books, advice for you, and I suggest reading them all. I've read most of them myself. But there's one element that's on every single one of them. You know what it is? Be nice. How easy is that? They don't like the brooding artist in the corner. Who wants to work with some guy that's a bummer? Who wants to work with a guy that's gonna have temper tantrums? Who's gonna work with a girl that shows up to set late because she's so mean to the makeup artist they've gone through 4 of them in a row? Nobody wants to work with these people. Now, at some point, you're gonna be big enough that they will overlook some of your shortcomings, but believe me that those people did not have those shortcomings before they got to that spot. It's a shame that they developed them there. If you wanna be successful, be nice. Be somebody that people want to hang out with, that they can imagine spending the next 6 weeks with. So don't underestimate that. Be a good person. Be the applicant that you would expect them to want. So don't take that too lightly. The other is agencies, managers. An agent's job is to get you opportunities for employment. That means you have to go out there, hit those auditions and win them. That's your job. If the agent is doing their job and you're getting those auditions and you're not doing your job, you're not getting those auditions landed, you will not have an agent for very long. When you're submitting to agents, do not just submit to any agency, but also don't just submit to the biggest. If you think you can get represented by CAA without having any sort of background, you're a little bit off your rocker. It's not gonna happen. You have to graduate to that level. That's like going to graduate school from middle school. Doesn't happen. So make sure that you pay attention to the size of the agency, the strength of the agency, the connections that they have. Those are the people you're going to be submitting to. And how often are you going to be submitting to them? You're going to submit to them all the time. You don't submit to one agency and wait till you hear back before you submit to another. Submit to every agency in your town all at once if you can. If you're in LA, it's going to take you weeks to get it out to everybody. You send them all out, you let it percolate a second, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and then you send it out again. And make sure you follows up to invitations to performances you have, or if there's a screening of a film, even if it's a student's film, make sure you get it out to them as well so they realize that you're staying busy and you're staying in front of them. And lastly, before I start taking some of your questions, is be persistent. And people say persistence means, oh, I should just keep at it, right? That's not what I'm saying. Persistence means be pushy. Who are the most successful people in business? Are they people that sat back and waited for business to come their way? Or are they people like Donald Trump who will seriously sell anything he has ever done at any given opportunity? He'll go on television, he's a rich man, and he'll talk about the new next thing that he's got offering so he can push customers there. This is a pushy man. If you want to be a successful actor, be a little pushy. That means get in their face. Don't be afraid of going too often or being too abrasive. You're not going to be abrasive. You're going to be sweet. You're going to be nice. You're going to be the people that they want to work with, right? They're going to want to hang out with you and they're not going to mind seeing you over and over again. And by doing that, they're going to remember that you're the person to hire. Now, these are just a few tips for you. They're basic tips. You can follow my blog on the website. I'm going to start putting out information on how to be a successful actor and adding more information as we go along. But I'd like to take some questions if we have any. Hey, folks, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. Devin D says he's been trying to edit his own reel, but he's not sure how to get clips of the professional television show he did.
Ooh, Devin D, wow.
Restate the question.
Okay, Devin D asked a question about getting clips for his reel. He's trying to edit his own reel, or her own reel. His, okay. And trying to figure out how you get the clips from television that you've done. It's a really good question. Normally, they will give you a copy as part of your contract. If you had such a contract, they will give you a copy of the particular performance that you did. However, it's always a good idea to think about these things ahead of time and record it. Record it at home before you do it. Record it on your computer, whichever manner you're going to do it. But you can contact the production company that you worked with. They will have access to that footage, and most likely they'd be happy to get you a copy of that. So make sure you contact them. If you have a hard time getting through to them, if you're having a hard time getting any sort of response from that, you can let us know and we might be able to help you a little bit too. Okay? Any other questions?
Yes, Pacer Q wants to know what's the standard price for good headshots?
Pacer Q? Pacer Q is asked, what is the standard price or a price of a standard headshot, a good price? Boy, that is going to vary drastically as to where you live. In Los Angeles, I know excellent photographers. They give you session rates, what, about $250, $300 for headshots. That's your session rate. Sometimes they'll give you your discs. Sometimes they'll charge you more for the disc. More importantly than asking just how much does it cost is asking who's taking the photographs. Not just look at their work, but what agencies are using their work. What stars or people that are working a lot in the business are using their work. If they have shot some of the best actors in the business, their headshots are utilized by every agency out there, you've got the right person. Then you can say, okay, this is $400, this is $500, but I know I'm going to get the work that I need. It might be well worth that investment. But if it's somebody you've never really heard of before, they take beautiful pictures and the shots look beautiful, but they don't have that background, $200, $300 would be the max that I would go with. Any other questions?
Yes, this is directly for you, Alan. How did you become a casting professional?
Oh, who is it from? Oh, how did I become a casting professional? Kip asked that one. That's really sweet of you, Kip. Thank you. Completely by accident. If you read my bio, it talks a lot about my personal management experience, my production experience. While getting into production, I opened up my offices a great deal to other production companies and people I was partnering up with to do casting sessions and the like. And it was during those processes they wanted me to sit in and give them advice on who I thought the best candidates were. Again, my understanding of film, understanding of acting and management kind of helped in that regard. And it was from that I was asked actually to cast some of the films that I was producing in. So I've cast a few projects and I have helped with casting in a lot of projects. It's because I understand what works, what doesn't work, but I also keep in mind that name talent as a producer, name talent is important to be able to sell tickets. So was that our last question?
Yes, it is.
All right, so that was our last question. I hope you found this informative. We're gonna have this recorded, so you're gonna be able to come back over it. Again, if you wanna follow my blog, I'm gonna give as much information as I can, and always feel free to ask questions on the UFA website. I'm on there, Alan Larson, no synonym, just me, Alan Larson. You can send me a message anytime, and I'm always gonna be happy to answer those. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope that you enjoy this and I hope you enjoy the future webisodes that we have coming out. And pay close attention to what's happening with UFA. Some wonderful surprises are coming your way. So thanks for joining us. Now, get busy.